Hi everybody, it's Diana with StampingWithDi.com. Welcome to this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. I am so glad that you're here on my YouTube channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Diana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. If you've been here before, welcome back, and you know exactly what Mimeograph Monday with a Twist is all about. So if this is the first time you've been here, basically I'm going to be making today's a card, sometimes it's a bag, but today it is a card out of the catalog. So the first project I show will be my my take on it, and then the second card will be a twist on there, and then I'll change it. Sometimes I change it totally, sometimes I just change it a little bit. It all varies in the project. So I'm glad that you're here, and let's see, I don't think I have much more. It's almost the end of the month, right? The last week. Is it the last week? Almost the last week. Almost the last week of October. So it's finally feeling a little cooler in Arizona. I took the garbage out today. I'm like, oh, I wish the weather was like this all the time. But then everybody would live here, we always say. And so it looks like we are going to get some more rain today. So I want to get started just in case we have any electric problems with our power going out. So let me stop blabbing. Close your eyes while I adjust my camera and we will get started. All right, so let me quickly get this in position. I just go by my table lines and then hopefully that's straight. Okay, so this is, all right, let me show you the card. I am doing on page 106 in the main catalog. So this is Wildflower Path, and I love the look of this card here. So this is the one that I'm going to be doing today. And so I have my recipe here. Now, if you want those recipes, those can be found on my blog. And if you just go to the catalogs, the recipes are there. And then that way, if you like to do what I do, then you can do the same thing. All right, so here is the stamp set. Now, it is a photopolymer stamp set. So that means I'm going to be using my little foam, my Stampin' Pierce mat. And this just adds that little extra gushiness just in case you are new to Stampin' Up. We have cling, which are the red rubber, which are like pretty much what everybody's used to. And then now we have photopolymer. I shouldn't say now, we've had them for several years, but we have photopolymer and they stick clear to the block. So you do need to have a little bit of gushiness. I find that it helps them stamp a little better. So if you do have problems with your photopolymer, grab yourself a Stampin' Pierce mat, and that should make everything be good. All right, so let's set that aside for a second now. All right, so we have our card stuff. Now, my card base, I'm using the basic white thick, and I've already scored it. This is what I usually gravitate to for my card bases, is the thick. And it just withstands, it stands up really nice, right? Because it's got a little bit of heft to it. If I'm going to do any coloring or anything like that, then I usually use the thin. So this is the thick for the base, and then this is, it's not called thin, but it's just called basic white, and it's thinner. So this is what I usually use for my layers, and that's what we're using today. All right, I just want to make sure I've got the right piece. So this is going to go on the inside. Now this DSP is from the Design a Daydream, and this is the Hostess paper. And what is too funny is when I was cutting it, and I always do this little strip, not always, but generally, and I was like, when I put one beside it, it didn't look like it, and I'm like, okay, I only used one of the 12 by 12 pieces of paper. But what it is it's this 12 by 12 paper is like a graduated color. So this is really kind of a dark green, and it goes lighter and lighter and lighter to like a mint macaron. So I don't know if the camera, yeah, it does pick that up. So see, you've got two different greens, and that's from one 12 by 12 piece of paper. So you just want to, and I even turned it over because I thought I had by accident picked up another one. So if you are using this paper, just keep that in mind, that on one side of the paper, or like one edge of the paper, it's one color, and then the other side is the other. So you're not losing your mind. Okay, so let's get back to the card. I was like, oh, I need to tell that, because I was like, what? That's not the same green. Okay, so we're just gonna put this little piece on the bottom, and this is just gonna go on the inside of our card. So I even have the air conditioner turned off right now, and I'm not sweating up a storm because it's so nice out. Okay, so now people that live where it's cold are probably like, we don't want to hear about that. Okay, so let's see here. Now this DSP is also cut the same size as this. So I'm going to use the green tip glue because it gives me a little bit of a wiggle room when I'm attaching that. You can also use your Stamparatus, which I've done before in several videos, but today I'm just going to use my green tip glue, and I've just put it in this little glue bottle. All right. I keep forgetting to put the rubber band on that lid. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this over, and I'm just going to match up my edges. So if you use the green tip glue, it gives you just that little bit of wiggle room, and I might have to trim my edges a little bit. And the multi-purpose, the Tombow multi-purpose, which I call green tip glue, is great because it dries quickly, but it does give you like a second or two of wiggle room in case you do have to adjust it, but not tons of time, so just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm just cutting this little tiny bit that is going to hang off the bottom. All right, so there's the front of our card. Let's bring over this piece, which is going to go with this piece. Alrighty. So let's do this and a grid sheet, because we are going to be stamping off the paper. So I'm just going to tear a piece of my grid sheet and do our stamping. All right, so the colors are Evening Evergreen and Blushing Bride. So let's do the Evening Evergreen first, just to get that done. All right, so we have Evening Evergreen. So we're just going to do like a little garden, 3 stalks of stems or whatever, 3 things of stems. We're also going to do some embossing. Okay, so we have our 3 stems, then our Blushing Bride. So this is what we call 2-step stamping. So you have your stems, and then you have your flowers that are going to go on your stems. Now you could leave your stems like by itself, and then it just looks like ivy climbing up a wall. This would be, now that makes me think, oh, squirrel moment. I might have to do another card and just leave it as ivy. Okay, I have to put that on the back burner. Oh, my mind. All right, so now we're just going to look through the stamp and stamp our little flowers right on the stem. And that's what's so cool about the photopolymer. You can see through and get your flowers or your greeting or whatever right where you want it. Right. I just want to make sure I've got the right pieces. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. I also, while I have my ink pad open, let's put our happy birthday. This is just some crumb cake, because we're going to also be using crumb cake cardstock. And again, this is the catalog version of the card. I have to look through there. All right, so we've got happy birthday. Let that dry. And again, while we have the ink pads open, I'm going to stamp on the inside. So we have this really cute little 3 flower thingy. So I'm just going to put some Blushing Bride, and then we're going to take this big greeting that I love so much, and it's not even just so much the greeting, I love the font on this set. It's just so beautiful. All right, so that's going to go right over top of those flowers, and I just love that it has that little peek through of the flowers on the back. All right, so let me move stuff out of the way because I need to emboss this piece. All right, so hold on a second. We're going to use the Big Mama cut and emboss machine, and we are going to do some embossing with the Elegant Eucalyptus. Now I used the Elegant Eucalyptus on, when I did that geranium bag, wasn't it? All right, so we need, so I have my cut and emboss. So you need number 1. You do not want this one because it says right on there, do not use with embossing folder. So I'm going to put my, I put my little piece of paper inside the Elegant Eucalyptus. Then I have my gray, not gray, well it is gray, my number 4. And then that's going to go on there. And then this is going to run through. And then it puts that pretty eucalyptus on my card. All right, so let's see. I want to use this again, so I'm just going to set this aside behind me. All right, hold on a second. Right behind me. Scoot down. Oops, hold on. Hold on. I did the wrong button. Wrong button. There we go. Okay, so we have this. Then let's bring our card. So we have this and this. So we have just a little tiny bit of a layer behind our basic white with the crumb cake. And remember, we used crumb cake for our greeting somewhere. Oh no, I didn't. Maybe I didn't. I'm like losing my mind. I don't think I stamped the front greeting yet. Okay, so this just has a tiny little bit of crumb cake sticking out. And then we're going to put it on the card. Now the catalog one actually uses baker's twine and it goes inside the card. I usually don't do that. I mean, once in a blue moon I do, but I am doing the catalog version. So I'm going to do exactly as it said. And then for my twist card, it's a little different. Okay, so we have that. Then we also did some flicking, and that's what we want, the mint macaron. So we have our mint macaron. And let me get my grid sheet back because it's a little messy. And we're going to take our water painter, and we're just going to take a little bit of water, and I'm just getting some mint macaron on there. And then I'm just going to tap it on the lid. And what that does is it puts some flicks on the paper. So we have like little splatteries on our card. So you see see those little splatteries? All right. Then I'll just clean my brush. So I'm going to do that a different way when I do my twist. Okay, so let's put the inside of our card. I'm almost at the end of my seal. All right, so this goes on the inside. I'm also using the white baker's twine. This comes in a multi-pack, and I have just put it on the spool. Oh, here's our happy birthday. I thought I stamped it. All right, so we have our happy birthday. We're just going to cut it at an angle and then straight on the other side. And now with the baker's twine, I'm just going to let it spool off the spool. And we want to put a couple times around the card. So this is what I usually don't do. I usually don't have it go on the inside of the card. But like I said, we're doing like the catalog version. And this is fun, right? It's always, I enjoy my Mimeograph Monday with a twist. Okay, I need to pull this out a little bit and get a little longer. So my tail's just a tad longer to tie. Okay, that's better. That's better. And they went around 3 times, but I only went around twice. Because I need to find the rest of my white. Because it does come in a multi-pack, and I seem to always use the white. So I need to find my other packs, so I can load up my spool again. All right, so we have our baker's twine on there. So let me just adjust these. Now we have our happy birthday, and that's just going to go right along our baker's twine. So let me get some dimensionals, and I'm just going to put the dimensional right on the baker's twine and push it down hard. And in that way, it's sticking to the baker's twine, but it's also wrapping itself around the baker's twine to grab the cardstock. All right, so we've got our happy birthday on there. Then we're also using the solid faceted gems. So if you were just joining us, I am doing my Mimeograph Monday with a twist, and I am just finishing up the catalog version. I haven't started my twist one yet. All right, so we are going to add some of these gems, and let's see, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't use these gems enough. I was like, oh, what are those? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been a while since I used them, and I love them, and I have such a mess of them in my container. All right, so we have happy birthday, and then here's the inside. So I love that. All right, so now let me start on the twist. Now I should have decorated my envelope. Let me do that real quick, because it's easy with this stamp set, because it is a 2-step stamping. So that is an easy one to decorate. I mean, simple. Boop. I'm not even worried if my flowers aren't even in the right spot. Look at how quick that was. Okay, so my envelope is decorated. All right, so now let's start with the twist card. So I need to wash my stamp, because I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to change colors. All right. And I also changed the DSP. I'm just getting some of this. Sometimes I feel like, you know, when they cook and they throw salt over their shoulder, that's me with pieces of cardstock and the backs of dimensionals. I just toss them over my shoulder. I'll pretend it's good luck. All right, so we are going to start our card, and let's decorate the envelope right from the beginning. So let's see, we don't want Blushing Bride this time. I changed it to Petal Pink, so it's not tons different, but it gives it a totally different look, and you'll see when I get done. All right, so let's just decorate our envelope just so it's done. And I'm just gonna decorate it like I did the other one with those 2 stalks and the flowers. All right, just so we can say, yes, we did do the thing. All right, so let's do, I did the same thick basic white as I did before, just because it's just kind of my go-to. I mean, I do use colored cardstock, but I just seem to gravitate to the thick basic white. We also have our piece for the inside, and this time I picked the DSP lovely, is it lovely linen? Hang on a minute. It is the, yes, lovely in linen. So I went with this DSP this time instead of this DSP. So this is the DSP I used on the first one, and that's that host one. So if you are placing a $150 order, or you call me and say, oh, I need my own host code, a bunch of my friends are going to order, we're going to put orders in together, and I give you your own personal host code, and they come to at least $150 before tax and shipping, because that's when the rewards start, then you could grab that pack of DSP as for free. All right, so this is the lovely in linen, and I wanted to use very similar colors. So this is still the evening evergreen, that did not change. All right, so let's do the inside while we have the inside. All right, so we have our petal pink. Let me wash those little flowers, because I'm going to do the same kind of thing, but this time I'm going to turn this into a thank you card. All right, so we want our, whatchamacallit, our scrub pad, or not our scrub pad, our pierce pad. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. They're very faint. It's a very faint color. All right, and then we have my heart is smiling because of you, because it's going to be a thank you. I love to have thank you cards on hand. All right, my heart is smiling because of you. Isn't that a pretty saying? I love that. Okay, we'll set that aside to dry. Let's bring this over. Now I trimmed the, I trimmed down the front, like the front panel, we'll call it. I trimmed the front panel down so that it was a little smaller. All right, but let's bring our flowers over. And then I'm going to do very similar, but I'm choosing the petal pink, and it's just such a pretty pink. To me, it reminds me of what I want to say in my mind, Blushing Bride. I'm trying to think, did we not have, I want to say, oh, Blush Blossom. That's aging myself as a demonstrator. Didn't we have, I want to say we had a Blush Blossom stamps or ink pads years ago, and I want to say that that's what this reminds me of, and it's the petal pink. So it's just a really pretty light pink. All right, so we have that on there. I'm also going to do the same thing with the machine. I'm going to bring the machine over. Now it's important because we ran this through, because you could not put the eucalyptus on here first and then stamp it, because you're it wouldn't stamp properly because of all of the bumps and all that kind of stuff. So it's important you want to wash it in between, because this ink, like that evening evergreen that I have stamped on there, will transfer onto the folder. So I'm just like drying it. so it would transfer into the folder. You might not see it, but as it squishes through the machine, it makes that, you can see it. All right, so we're going to put this into our eucalyptus just like we did before. And okay, so again, you want to put the oops, hang on a minute, let me scoot up. You want to put the folding side in the machine first, not the open side. And I think the reason, because if you put this in, air gets trapped in here, and I think over time this will crack, and it moves. It allows the embossing folder to move because it's you know, because there's air in there. So you want to make sure you put it through the fold first, and then if there is air trapped in there, it allows it to push that air out. Where if you do it the opposite way, it can't get out because that fold is there. All right, so we're going to put our gray number 4 and run it through again, just like we did before. Okay, get the machine away. All right, scoot down. All right, at least I did the right button this time. Okay, so let's get this out of our eucalyptus. Yay! I washed it good. All right, so then let's bring our card over. So I'm using that same DSP on the front as I did on the inside. And look how pretty it is on the other side. It's like a really pretty pack of DSP. But I love that this has got the, you know, the evening evergreen. I'm using it like it's mint macaron, the lighter green. It might be, do I have one in here? You know me and my little square things. Let's see, do I have a lovely? Oh, no, I don't. So I'm going to have to make myself one. All right. So then we want this. So we're also going to do the splattering. But this time, I'm going to splatter with the Stampin' Blend. And that's usually how I like to splatter. I find it's a little, it dries quicker, and it's just quicker. It's quicker and cleaner. All right, so you're going to use the brush side, and you're just going to flick it in the lid. And look it, we already got our little flicking. You got to make sure you pronounce that good. Marks on there, so really good to go. We could use evergreen on there too if we wanted to have some darker ones. All right, so then let's put this on the inside. I'm still going to stamp my greeting with the evening evergreen, but I'm picking to use the petal pink cardstock instead of the crumb cake, and that gives it a different look too, like totally a different look. All right, so we want this, and these are just 1/2 inch. They were the perfect width for this stamp set for the greeting, like the little one-liner greetings. All right, so I'm going to go thank you. Oop, and that's why I cut 2. That's why I cut 2. All right, got to get it this time because I didn't cut 3. Yay! All right, so we've got thank you. Let's see, I can close the ink pad. All right, so we're going to do the same trimming, that angle. Now this time with the petal pink, so I did trim this down. Like I said, I made this piece a little bit smaller. And it still has that little bit showing out of the top and the bottom. So I didn't change that much, but just changing that crumb to the petal pink, I just think it makes it for a brighter card. All right, but this time I'm going to take this piece only to put the baker's twine on. All right, so let's get our baker's twine and wrap. So it's a lot easier to wrap this around. I'm only going to do 2 again. I'm just going to do 2. Like that. And I've got a good length to tie. And then this way I can use my handy dandy Scotch tape that I usually do. So this is my twist card. So I didn't do like tons of different, but it does look different. All right. So we've got tied our little bow. Trim our tails. Now I'm going to take wherever my dimensionals are. They're like hiding. Let me just get another pack. Okay, so I'm going to take my dimensionals. These are the baby ones. And I'm going to cut tiny, tiny little strips. So I'm going to go a tiny strip and a tiny strip. Like that. And I'm going to put them on each side of the baker's twine. So this is another way to put your greeting on there. So I'm putting it on each side of the baker's twine. And that's just going to hold my twine in place. I'm just squishing it up against there. And then this will hold my greeting on. So this is just different than putting the dimensional like right on the twine. All right, so oops, hang on a minute. Look what I did. I made it too long. Hang on a second. So we're just going to pull that back a little bit and trim it. Just pull it back. So see, I don't always do things right the first time. So I'm just pulling back, and then I just trimmed those 2 little pieces off because I made them be a little bit too long. All right. So we've got our thank you, and I'm putting it more in the center. Then this time I'm going to pick my bling. It's going to be these light ones because they are the petal pink. But let's put it on the card first. Hold on, let's put it on the card. So we're going to put, since I have the baby ones out, we'll use those. Okay, this one is married to my finger, so it's not getting off. When I do my fingernails, I swear, things love the new fingernail polish. Glue dots, dimensionals, you name it. All right, let's put this on the front. We're still going to put it at an angle, like that. All right, so now let's put our bling on. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So isn't that cool? All right, so let me show you the 2 together. All right, so here is, where's the one? There it is. So here is the 2. So here's the catalog version, and then here is my twist. Now I did a twist earlier with the happy birthday, just so you could see, you know, this one says happy birthday, this one says thank you, but it's basically the same card. So let me know what you think. I kind of like the darker DSP because I feel like it makes me notice the darker ink more because of it. And I think just because this is the same as that, it just makes my eyes gravitate more to the stock. All right, let me say see you later, alligator. Yay, yay. So let me know what you think. And if there's ever a project you want me to do in the catalog, let me know because I totally love suggestions because sometimes after a while it's like, okay, what can I show? What, what project? And so I love suggestions. So, all right, so I will say have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. And have a great night. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. All right, bye for now.